Hello, I'm Panos Kotsathanasis and this is Bad Accent Video Reviews. Today we're going to talk about No Other Choice by Park Chan-wook. How does one even begin to describe No Other Choice? Park Chan-wook's latest feature arrived with enormous expectations, premiering at Venice, winning the People's Choice Award at TIFF and making its West Coast debut at the Mid-Valley Film Festival, where it genuinely caught audience off guard. Not because it failed to work, but because many viewers were left wondering whether they were supposed to laugh. Rest assured, though, No Other Choice is absurdly funny. Crucially, its humor is not just dark or ironic, but frequently slapstick, embracing exaggerated physicality, awkward timing, and near farcical escalation. What makes this particularly striking is how fully the two leads commit to this register. Lee Byung-hun and Son Ye-jin, actors long associated with intensity, glamour, and emotional gravity, present their characters in a deliberately awkward, almost cartoonish manner, something neither has done so intently before. The contrast between their star personas and the humiliation their characters endure becomes a key source of comedy. Adapted from Donald D. Westlake's 1997 novel The Axe, No Other Choice, the film follows Yeom Hye-ran, a middle-class family man played by Lee Byung-hun, who is abruptly laid off from his job at a paper production company. His wife, Miri, portrayed by Son Ye-jin, immediately shifts into survival mode. Expenses are cut, comforts are abandoned, even their Netflix subscription becomes a luxury they can no longer afford, not to mention the two dogs see the way out. What begins as a familiar story of economic anxiety gradually mutates into something far darker. As months pass and job prospects evaporate, Mansu comes to a chilling conclusion. If he cannot outcompete his rivals, he will simply eliminate them. The absurdity of this decision is often underlined through physical comedy and situational farce, with Park repeatedly staging moments that are simultaneously horrifying and ridiculous. One of the film's sharpest thematic undercurrents lies in its commentary on obsolescence. Paper, as both material and metaphor, becomes central. The analog world Mansu inhabits is quietly dying, replaced by digital efficiency and globalized labor, a not so subtle nod to what Park frames as an American invasion of corporate logic. Those who cannot adapt are discarded, and Mansu, tragically, is one of them. His refusal to change is not heroic, it is fatal. In this world, stagnation does not merely lead to death, it creates killers. Lee Byung-hun appears here more desexualized than ever, sporting brownish hair and a thin mustache, his physicality intentionally awkward and stripped of movie star confidence. This stands in stark contrast to Son Ye-jin, who remains radiant, her beauty becoming part of the film's power dynamics and at times another slapstick tool. When the couple faces the threat of their son being expelled after stealing from a despicable render store, a man essentially who is supposed to buy the house of the family is considering their financial situation, the responses are telling. Miri leans into sexual manipulation, while Mansu resorts to blackmail, both played with an almost grotesque exaggeration. Power, Park suggests, is gendered, contextual, and deeply transactional. Visually, no other choice is truly immaculate. Every scene is meticulously constructed with precise blocking, bold framing, and a color palette that oscillates between sterile normality and creepy menace. Park reunites with cinematographer Kim Yoo-hung and editor Kim Sang-boom, abandoning invisible editing in favor of radical dollies, sudden zooms in the style of Hong Sang-soo, but in much more elaborate fashion, if I could say that, and visual puns that enhance the film's slapstick rhythm as much as its tension. The music is equally striking. Park deploys sound more aggressively than ever, particularly during the first murder sequence, where the score becomes narratively essential rather than merely atmospheric, and essentially another aspect of the slapstick atmosphere. From cheerful, jogging beat tracks to overwhelming walls of sound, the music amplifies both the violence and the absurdity, pushing scenes into almost operatic farce. The performances are uniformly excellent. Lee Byung-hun delivers a controlled yet physically expressive turn, constantly flirting with humiliation, while Son Ye-jin balances elegance with comedic cruelty. One might wonder how the role would play with Song Han-ho or Han Jung-min in the lead, but Lee's restrained awkwardness ultimately serves the film well. Yeom Hye-ran as Ara, one of the wives of one of the people being victims of the protagonist, steals the show entirely, grounding the madness with a performance that feels both naturalistic and devastating. Interestingly, the film repeatedly approaches sexual encounters only to pull away at the last moment. The near total absence of sex scenes feels deliberate, possibly tied to the celebrity status of its leads, but it also reinforces the film's emotional sterility and suppressed desperation, turning expectation itself into a kind of joke. Tonally, No Other Choice sits far from the romantic restraint of Decision to Live or the baroque sensuality of The Handmaiden. Instead, it recalls Park's earlier, more mischievous instincts, blending the moral logic of his Vengeance trilogy with the offbeat intimacy of I'm a Cyborg But That's Okay, and filtering it all through an almost cartoonish lens. In the end, No Other Choice feels like a veteran filmmaker revisiting his roots, not out of nostalgia, but with renewed confidence. It is macabre, slapstick, unsettling, and frequently hilarious, yet unmistakably the work of an artist fully in control of his craft. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but for those willing to embrace its twisted logic, this is Park Chan-wook having fun again, and perhaps, as the title suggests, doing exactly what he had no other choice but to do. Thank you very much. This was another episode of Bad Accent Reviews. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye.